Dear students of Honors Part 4, you welcome to the class. You know, I am Siddhartha Shankar, an assistant professor in English in Government Horoganga College, Munshiganj. Hopefully, you are doing all right. Despite this adverse situation, you are utilizing every moment you have. You know, the Bhai Babusi of Honors Part 4 is going on, and you, the students, your exam is still uncertain. Still, we are hopeful that we will get certain date of your of examination. At the same time, we are hopeful that the classes will be resumed physically. Until then, we have to depend on these online classes. So, dear students, in my previous lectures, I have discussed on the characters of this great novel of Passage to India. In my previous class, I have discussed already on Ronnie Hislop, who was a flat character. Flat character means there was no ups and downs in his character, and almost in every, from the beginning to the end of the novel, we find him almost in same. Today I am going to discuss on Professor Godbole, and Professor Godbole is also a flat character in this novel, and here we find from the beginning to the end of this novel, there is no ups and downs in his character. You know that Professor Godbole is an educated person. He is a philosopher indeed. He is a professor, and a professor in the Fieldings College in Chandrapur. So therefore, he is a recognized figure among the community. So you know that Professor Godbole represents Hinduism in this great novel. So there is a question actually, whether he can actually represents the Hinduism or not. Still, Foster tries to represent Hinduism in British India through this great character. And you know, Professor Godbole represents universal love. He has love for everything, you know, from educated or literate uh, mm, Brahmin to wasp, so the tiny creature. That means he represents cosmic love or universal love in this novel, and that is the actually according to Foster, which is the basic of Hinduism. You know that in the final part of this novel, we find him a very religious person, and he performs his religious rituals with great devotion. You know, at the scene of going to Maravhar caves, Professor Godbole missed the train because he was busy in praying. He actually gives more importance in praying than going to other works. Therefore, he is very much a religious person. But this religious belief could not fade away his philo feelings, or he was not a communal person at all. You know, we find that at the end of this novel, he became education minister of Mo, and when after the trial of Dr. Aziz, Dr. Aziz left Chandrapur, and Professor Godbole managed a job for Dr. Aziz. Therefore, he was a good human being, and he has fellow feelings, and he actually could give evaluation, or he could value everything or every people around him. He developed a very good relationship with Mrs. Moore, because Mrs. Moore was a very humanitarian personality in this novel, and he basically could understand the pulse of the Indians, and the both were very good friends. Uh, we also find that Dr. He has very he is actually he has very little interest in worldly affairs. In the serious affair like the trial of Dr. Aziz, he was absent, and he gave little importance there. The thing is that whatever happens, little or big, he shows his callousness. So here we find that he is a bit a comic figure, because he can't differentiate between seriousness or trifle thing, the serious thing and the trifle thing. Therefore, uh, as I mentioned at the beginning of my discussion, is that he is basically a flat character, and he represents Hinduism. Here the question comes whether he is the actual figure of Hinduism or not, because in a real life we didn't find so. And first, in his actual visit to India, he couldn't have enough exposure with the Hindu community. Rather, he had some exposure with the Muslim community. Therefore, he couldn't build a very good idea or about the Hinduism. But through this character of Professor Godbole, he has tried to give the description of Hinduism. So therefore, Professor Godbole becomes a very important character in this novel. And he has a very good philosophical approach, and he has fellow feelings. He is a very courteous person, because he always try to serve his commitments, try to commitments obey the commitments he keeps. And he is a very helpful friend, because he managed a job for Dr. Aziz, and of course he is a good religious minded people. And he was not administrator, he was not a very good administrator, because he is callous to that administration. And he became the head of education department in MOU. And but one thing we should remember, that he always preferred Englishmen to the other people, other community, because through his dressing, through his dress up, we understand that he represents Hinduism, and at the same time that English attire he also wears. For example, he wears dhoti, kurta, and at some time overcoat. So this is the combination of the both type of dresses. He is of course a peculiar character, at the same time a educated and philosophical character. Through him the universal love has been portrayed. Through him the friendship, he valued friendship. Therefore, a combination of all the good things and at the same time ridiculous things have been portrayed through this character. So dear students, from today's discussion, hopefully you have got some idea about this character, Professor Godbole. In my next class, I will discuss on other topics of this novel. So thanks for watching.